We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's speaking right now in Detroit, Michigan. And apparently she's talking about this port strike ending. She's trying to appeal to union workers. And yet you have the President of the United States come out clearly overshadowing her, answering significant questions. Is that a communications mistake?
It would seem that the internal feud between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is getting significantly worse. So before we tell you today's news, let us play a quick soundbite that's going to give you all the context you need to know. If you've been living under a rock or you're very naive to the situation between them, all you really need to be aware about is this right here.
You talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes.
Again, the only thing you need to know here is he hates her. Just remember that in your head, because this week, Joe Biden held a cabinet meeting that Kamala Harris called into, and the exchange you're about to watch, I don't know if this video was leaked or was supposed to get out there or, what went on here, but it is pretty insane. So folks, grab your popcorn and also do us a big favor. If you're enjoying the content, please, please, please hit that subscribe button down below. Why should you subscribe? Because your subscription, trust me, it does, goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you these videos on this pivotal, historical, and ultimately so important election year. And all you got to do, it's free, is hit that red button down below you to ensure our work can survive here long into the month of November and beyond. And with that said, take a listen here as Joe Biden seems to go on a heated power trip against Kamala Harris.
The fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, well, we're going to have to, I know I'm going to go to the vice president in a second. She's my boss here.
That's a tribute song.
We're going to be. Hang on a second, Madam Vice President. Sure. We're going to be going to the Congress. We're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot more money as we identify specifically how much is needed. So I'm just telling everybody now. I don't want to hear that this is going to be the end of it. So with that, I'll yield to the president. I mean the vice president.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to...
Oh boy, I mean, folks, there is a lot to unpack in that video, okay? Because Joe Biden snaps, like he's visibly flustered when the aide next to him says, hey, you gotta go to Kamala Harris. He's like, I know, I'm about to. I mean, he said it very quietly because he's a senile old man, but that was the point that was getting across there. Then Kamala Harris tries to say herself, hey, Mr. President, and Joe Biden says, 1 second. Trying to basically remind her, hey, Kamala, I'm still in charge. And he even throws in that little jab at the end about how, let me go to the president. I mean, sorry, the vice president, as if he's sarcastically trying to say, are you in charge right now? Or am I in charge right now? Now, you could say, obviously, Vince, you're reading way too much into this. But let's not forget that it's been pretty well documented by now. They're kind of undermining each other. It's well known that the Biden family was not happy. They're still pretty resentful over the fact that they were pushed out of the race for Kamala. And even recently, let's not forget about Joe Biden's blatantly obvious attempts to undermine Kamala Harris. And keep that in mind when you watch a video like that. It's not just the standalone video, it's the context behind everything that has been happening between them in recent weeks.
I do have a note, and I'm curious what you think about this. We were actually about to go live to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's speaking right now in Detroit, Michigan. And apparently she's talking about this port strike ending. She's trying to appeal to union workers, and yet you have the President of the United States come out clearly overshadowing her, answering significant questions. Is that a communications mistake? Is the left hand not talking to the right hand in this situation?
That's a very good point. And if they were coordinated, as you assume they would be, this would not have happened.
And of course, how could we forget that this week, Joe Biden directly contradicted Kamala Harris's attack line against Ron DeSantis of supposedly politicizing the hurricane relief.
Mr. President, far as everything you like to do.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
So again, perhaps if that clip just existed in a bubble, you could say maybe there's not enough to indicate that something is going on between Biden and Kamala, although I still think it would be fair to speculate. But when you add in all of the recent context, you can see exactly what Joe Biden is doing is he's being kind of passive aggressive, right? Okay, go ahead to the president. I mean the vice president, because you think you're the president. Clearly, you're trying to take my spotlight right now. When they try to let her talk, he's like, hold on one second. This is my spotlight. This is my presidency, my desk. You're not going to mess with it. You're going to wait your turn because ultimately I made you. That is exactly what is going on here. And this compounds itself with a recent article out of the New York Post that is alleging Biden is sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign after being forced to drop out. Pundits are saying, and this will give you some of the details and analysis. Let me know what you think, but to me, it seems completely obvious by now what is going on. It reads, President Biden is so bitter about being forced to drop his re-election bid that he's deliberately sabotaging Kamala's campaign, according to a growing chorus of political pundits. Since being pressured out of the race in July, Biden has done little for Harris beyond endorsing her and has largely been a no-show at his vice president's campaign events, which is very true, right? Where has Joe Biden been really that much out on the campaign trail helping his vice president? Now, you could make the argument maybe Kamala doesn't want Joe there because she is trying to distance herself from Biden, but still, I think there's a little more to the story than that, and even a Democrat political strategist is about to agree with me, as you'll hear here. He's also pulled the spotlight from his intended successor on multiple occasions, including delivering his own comments last week about how the White House is responding to the hurricane, even after Harris canceled a Las Vegas campaign event and hurried back to DC to be briefed on the storm's impact. Very interesting, right? The lame duck leader has also served up a plethora of cringeworthy actions that have left conservatives salivating. They include sporting a Trump 2024 campaign hat during a 9/11 anniversary event last month, which, by the way, I didn't even know this when I reported, but apparently it is being alleged that when Joe Biden did that, he actually took the hat home with him as well. Check it out.
There's a little more to the story. I was struck by this sentence in the BBC, Emily. It said the daughter of the man who swapped hats with the president said Biden kept the Trump hat. After the interaction, she said that her father ended up getting another cap from the Trump campaign after they reached out. So he kept the hat. I mean, does he have it by his bedside in the White House?
I don't know. It's so weird to me, you guys. But
So not only did he undermine Kamala and give the Republicans free political points in that moment, he apparently kept the hat. Why would you keep the hat? I think Joe Biden secretly really likes that hat right now. Just saying. Here we go. Meanwhile, there's been growing tension in recent months between Biden's advisors and Harris's over the dueling interest of remaining loyal to the unpopular president while also promoting herself on the campaign trail as representing change, according to multiple reports. Hank Scheinkampf, who is a New York-based Democrat strategist, called Biden's refusal to embrace the Harris campaign a possible, quote, power move to ensure that people still understand who the boss is. And by the way, I think when you watch that exchange from the leaked call of the cabinet meeting, it's pretty obvious that's exactly what Joe Biden was trying to do by cutting them off in that moment. Yes, to ensure that people still understand who the boss is. It would be absolutely ridiculous to assume that he has no resentment over how he was treated or how, frankly, he was forced out in what some would describe as a coup, the veteran campaign consultant said. And here he goes on. why hasn't he appeared in places where he could do some good, like parts of Pennsylvania and the states where the president buoyed during his term? Nobody wants to give up being president of the United States voluntarily. It's one job you don't want to leave. And hey, considering all of the recent context, that seems obvious. Of course, the PR people on both sides of this drama are denying it. For instance, White House spokesperson Andrew Bates said critics seem to have missed that Biden made clear he was all in for Harris out of the gate when he left the campaign and has consistently fought for her and praised her leadership to the country, which I would still say is a little bit backhanded considering Biden is trying to tie Kamala to his own record, which he knows is politically unpopular, but hey, what do I know?
Anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So look, you can deny it all you want, but it's very obvious what's going on right now, okay? To varying degrees, however much you want to say it's happening, like how hard Joe Biden is going, I think it is obvious, at least to some degree, that Joe Biden is, even casually as a side project, trying to sabotage Kamala Harris's campaign. It's very obvious that Trump was right. He hates her, okay? And it's certainly entertaining to watch. And by the way, as a Trump supporter, thank you, Joe. Truly. We really do appreciate it. Okay, on his way out, the villain became a hero. You know, it's Darth Vader at the end of Star Wars or something. I don't know. But that said, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.